So I'm with Kamesh, who's the lead developer advocate for Snowflake India. Hi, Kamesh.
Hi.
So how was your experience at Cypher, and how are you enjoying the sessions?
Okay. To be honest, like this is my first thing that I'm doing here in AIM, and I absolutely love the whole atmosphere, the people talking, and the developers on our booth as well as on the sessions. The type of questions that they ask that are all great, like making you more pumped up to do more stuff.
Yeah. So have you seen any difference in the from the last 2 years in the questions that the developers are asking when the Chat GPT boom happened? Have you seen any difference in the questions?
I think the questions that these developers asked me today, like they were like brilliant, I should say, because like the level of knowledge that they are now gained into how AI is getting into things that people are going in the house that they are developing, and what those developers has to have an understanding of how they are going to apply this stuff. I should definitely say the level is totally increased, right? It's no, I don't feel like it's more like a chat GPT question kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's more like how do I take and make my own chat GPT kind of stuff.
Yeah. So I think Snowflake's Cortex is a very good example of how developers can leverage LLMs and AI and data and everything. So can you explain a little bit about the adoption that you are seeing in India, specifically Snowflake Cortex?
See, Snowflake Cortex, I put a special name to that, like because when you actually come for developing application with AI or when you kind of developing application with GenAI specifically or ML in that case, the very first hiccup that people like, hey, how do I start using stuff, right? I didn't. How do I know? Like I don't know anything about GenAI. For example, even when I started getting into learning about GenAI and LLMs and ML and all these stuff, I don't know anything about, but the way we at Snowflake have made those things like the low code or no code is what they call us, that really makes them to start applying them immediately. So I think I'm definitely seeing there's a big traction of people or customers who are going to use Snowflake LLMs across the globe, not necessarily in India. So it will be across the globe to be able to sell.
Yeah. So I think Snowflake also, I think this year only launched its Arctic LLM as well.
Correct.
So can you tell me a little bit about how is the adoption when it comes to other open source models on the Snowflake Cortex?
Okay, so I need to call this big differentiator, right? So the very first thing with Snowflake Arctic, it's a completely open source model as you have, and it's available in Hugging Face for people to use.
Yeah.
So if you kind of think for a second, like the caption that we always use is like AI data cloud, and it's more specifically targeted enterprise.
Enterprise.
If you see the other models, they kind of play with both with vision and instruct, right? Whereas Arctic is specifically target on instruct, especially on the enterprise side of data, right? That is kind of code generation or SQL generation and other stuff that we use to play with enterprise data. So definitely the adoption, given the performance that we give, best cost to performance ratio that Snowflake Arctic plays against its competitors, the adoption of Snowflake Arctic is going to be really high in enterprises, specifically when you're doing with enterprise data.
Yeah. So I think a lot of enterprises are now actually checking how they can implement generative AI, and they're building a lot of POCs. So what advice would you give to the developers in the teams who are checking out generative AI and building apps? How can they push it to production easier?
See, definitely for those people, I definitely want them to give a drive and Snowflake's Gen AI, the whole ecosystem, what we call it, because we cover all the three different factors. Like when we started building this whole stuff up, and as a developer, when I started to use, our guiding principles is one is guiding everything. It's making it efficient, easy, and trusted like data all day, right? Because we make sure that developers start using this stuff with more confidence on it, and then okay, don't worry about where my data get leaked or if something happens, what do I do? It's in all these things, right? So we make sure that at Snowflake we make sure the governance comes first before everything comes next, right? So which means for developers, the strong advice I say, like give a try with what we have at Snowflake, what we offer as a Gen AI thing, see what all other good things that you can do pretty quickly. Especially you're trying POCs and POTs, but you have a feel of what you can do, then you can just go do a lot of other stuff you already have. Yeah.
Makes sense. So I'm not sure if you have to answer this question, but what about competing with someone like Databricks? They are in the AI as a service, while Snowflake is still not exactly, but it calls itself as a SaaS platform. So how is the conversation, do you think, is going ahead?
Probably that's to say, like I probably take a pause on the question. So
yeah. Okay. Bye. And so any advice that you would want to give to the developers who are building AI in India for India?
See, the best thing is like don't get horrified with the terms and terminologies, jargons that we use with AI, because most of the developers today, like they get stumbled, okay, these are using different jargons, LLMs, tokens, other stuff, chunking, etc., etc. Don't get bogged down by it, because at the end of the day, they are all jargons. try to do what you want to do, right? Use the right product, the right set of tools, right? And choose the right ones that you want to do. Always thinking in mind security, because you're going to deal with LLMs, which is not perfect the other day.
Yeah.
So make sure that you do the right due diligence to kind of start guys.
Okay. And do you think now everyone's a developer?
100%.
Everyone is a developer.
I think everybody should have the developer mindset, because starting from the CEO of the company down to the last developer, everybody should think them as a developer, because that's who are the ones who are going to develop an applications using your product. Okay, the day that's what is going to get you back end of the day. So in my opinion, everybody's a developer.
Okay. Yeah. So thank you so much for your time, Kamesh. And I hope you enjoy the conference even more.
Absolutely fun having me in this little chat we are having. Yeah, open for self.
Yeah. Thank you so much, sir.
Nice.
Take care.